Today is a bit of a casual day, as you can tell. I'm rocking this because I'm getting ready for my vacation with my mom to go to Mexico on Friday. Today is Tuesday, so I literally have like a couple days and then we're off to take a red eye to Mexico. My mom's from Tecalitlan, Jalisco, which is a couple miles away. I think it's like 2 hours away from Guadalajara. So I'm really excited. I went last year, so now I get to go again this year. My mom gets to accomplish this like really big goal. So I'm going to take you along for the ride too, just to go see her hometown, to see what just fun activities we can get into. But the basis of this vlog is actually to tell you a little bit about my story and how I almost quit real estate. And I'm so grateful that I didn't. So the story is, when I first was getting into real estate, again, I'm naturally introverted, right? Like, I was really shy. I remember when I went to college, like, all I was really, really quiet. Didn't raise my hand up for anything. Didn't want to talk to anybody. Just try to do my work. And so getting into real estate, it's like night and day. You know, everybody, this is a relationship business. This is what you're supposed to do. If you don't talk to people, you will not make any money. Like, you can't just sell a house and be like, hey, you know, but you don't acknowledge them. Like, that's just not possible. Anyways, I was doing that for about a couple months and not selling anything, not selling no properties, not making any money. I was living off of my DoorDash, and that was okay. Thank God I was living with my parents, and still kept trying to work, still kept trying to do real estate, because with real estate, you know, you don't get any income coming in. So you don't make money unless you close a transaction. So unless you help somebody buy or sell real estate. So the problem with that is, because I had no money, I had nothing. I had a really beat up car. Right now I drive a Subaru Impreza, but I was driving a Nissan Sentra. And I swear to you, it had a magnet for other cars. Okay, I probably was a pretty bad driver myself. But I think I crashed like 7 times in that car. Like, not even kidding, poor car. And I still see it around my town, which is even funnier, because then I think, like, man, where I came from. And I would get so nervous to even have to drive to people's houses and to do appointments, because, you know, I felt uncomfortable with them having to see the car and be like, why am I going to trust somebody to sell my house, my biggest asset, when they don't have, like, when they're driving this, you know? And so I would always park like probably 10-15 feet away. And so I remember one time specifically, I was finishing an appointment with the seller, and then he walks me out and he's like looking for my car, and he's like, Elias, where's your car? And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it, I just parked a little bit far, I like to walk. Lying to him. And I said, oh, I'll talk to you later. But I couldn't get anything signed. I couldn't get anything under contract. I was dating a girl at the time, and God bless her, like, it was hard on both of us. Like, no income, no nothing coming in. She couldn't, like, withstand it, because she wanted to go out, and, you know, rightfully so. I wanted to go out, but I had no money to go out. So I would just go out and hang out with people and not spend anything, because I had no money. I had no insurance. It was just terrible. Like, I was just risking it. I wasn't paying my credit card bills. And that's because I decided to stop doing DoorDash and just go all in real estate. And I still wasn't selling anything. 2021 happens. I'm in real estate for about 6-7 months. I'm getting my teeth kicked in left and right. Nobody wants to do anything with me. Nobody wants to do any real estate business. Nobody wants to work with me. And I'm like negative money right now. And again, no insurance. We're driving, me and my girlfriend at the time, and I crash. And I rear end somebody. Yeah, it was bad. I rear end them, and there were these old people, and I was running up there, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you guys okay? And the passenger was like, my neck. And I'm like, dude, I am screwed. I have ruined my life and ruined my career before it even started. And so we're going back and forth, and then he says, hey, you know what, the driver, don't worry about it, it's completely fine. I know people over here, they're looking at me. Completely fine, just give me your insurance. And I'm like, yeah, well, the thing about my insurance, I can give it to you tomorrow. And he said, you know what, I can't do that, but what you can do is, I'm gonna have to call the cops. And I said, well, dang it, what do you mean by that? And he's like, well, like, you don't have your insurance with you, and we need to, you know, get the cops to do this. And so we're going, and, you know, my girlfriend at the time, she's upset. Again, rightfully so. This is Thanksgiving. She just wants to go home and relax. And the cop comes by and he's like talking to me and he's like, dude, like, what's going on here? And I said, well, I'll be honest with you, sir, I don't have insurance. And it was raining that day too. And the cop says, listen, let me go talk to them. I'll talk to you. Let's get just a story figured out. And so I'm waiting there. She's upset. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, dude, this is over. Again, my career's over. I've killed somebody. I'm just like worried, you know? And the cop comes back and says, hey, no worries. Everybody's okay. But because you have no insurance, it's a $500 ticket. And I said, well, okay. And he said, but, and he looks at my car, he looks at how beat up it is. He takes a step back and he says, but looking at your situation and looking at your car, I can tell you can't afford that. And I laughed so hard. She was upset. Again, she was not having a good time, but I was trying to make the best out of it. And I said, you know what, sir? You are 100% I cannot afford that. And he said, what I can do for you is if you pay the ticket in this day, like 3 days afterwards, it's $150 and I would just write you up for driving under reckless conditions or some recklessly driving under like bad conditions, you know, because it was raining. And I said, okay, thank you. I paid that. And the thing prior though was that I had a client that I had her list a property, like I was trying to sell her house. She was going to sell and buy. But for whatever reason, we couldn't sell the property. It took me 3-4 months. We got out of contract because like our lease agreement terminated. Typically a lease agreement, which just says that they're hiring me to sell their property and put it on the market for about 3 months. I couldn't do it. Nobody was biting. So fast forward, this happens. I go to one of my really good friends and mentor and I say, hey, listen, I'm going to have to get a real job. Like not a real job, but like a job that pays me 9 to 5 and I'll come back after I save some money and I pay off this debt. Because then afterwards, because I had no insurance, the companies called me and they made me have to pay. So I had to pay like a $6,000 bill, which again, I get it. I was a monthly payment with them. And I said, I can't afford this right now. And he said, you know what? Sometimes you have to take 2 steps back in order to take, 4 or 5 steps forward. And I said, thank you. I appreciate that. And literally as soon as I have that conversation with him, 2 days afterwards, I'm looking for jobs. I get a call from that same client. This lady was my saving grace. Get a call from that same client, and that same client says, Elias, somebody came knocking at my door, and they said that they want to buy my house, and I want you to represent me. And I said, what? And literally, fast forward 2-3 months, she ends up selling her house. She ends up buying her house. And that money ends up being the moment where I can pay off my debt. Leads start coming in. Me and my girlfriend, we break up, and I start focusing on this. But because of that one action, because of that one thing that happened, I was able to keep moving forward. And now 5 years later, I'm still a real estate broker. And for that lady, I will always be grateful for her because she didn't have to do that. She didn't have to call me up and say, Elias, because this person came in, she could have tried to sell it off market, but she saw how hard I was working. And for her, I'm grateful. But if this resonates with you, if you're in a weird position in life and you're like, dude, I don't know if I want to keep doing this, keep pushing forward, because you never know how close you are to getting to that potential to where you change your life with that one decision. And I'm forever grateful. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it.